Is this thing on? There we go. Hi, everyone. My name is Heather Rule. I'm the technical manager for H.B. Fuller.
And I'm Chris Kane. I'm the digital technical manager. And since we've got a pretty good looking crowd here, I want to do a quick selfie. Come on over here before.
I think he needs a new profile picture.
So you guys will all be famous in about 30 minutes. But I do want to thank you guys for coming out and watching our new technology demo that we're going to do for you today.
Okay, you just talked about new technology, but Chris, could you do me a favor and give me a recap of what we talked about last year?
Yes, so last year we came out with a new mortar, Total Flex 110 and 150. It was a universal mortar, so you can use it inside and outside, wet, dry, floors, walls. You can pretty much use it anywhere, any type of tile from porcelain to ceramic, natural stone. You can even use it for glass as long as the glass is 16 square inches or smaller, and you use it in intermittent water exposure areas.
So what's intermittent water exposure?
That's a very good question, and we get asked that all the time. Intermittent water exposure is where it can get a little bit wet, but it doesn't get saturated, and it's definitely not submerged. So backsplashes, maybe a little accent in a shower, you can use it, but you definitely can't submerge it.
Okay, so like you couldn't put it in a pool or anything like that?
No, you could definitely, you don't want to put it in the pool, so you can pretty much use it anywhere.
Okay, what about like different substrates? Can you use it with like uncoupling membranes? Those are really popular.
Absolutely, you can use it. The neat thing about it is you can use it above and below uncoupling membranes, any of them. We've tested them. We will take on the bond warranty, so if you use Total Flex 110 or 150 over or under uncoupling, we will TEC H.B. Fuller warrant the bond. You don't have to go to the website, you don't have to register it, you just get our warranty with it.
Okay, so that's really cool. That's like last year's technology though, like universal products, that's a little bit old news. What about this year? What are we talking about this year?
Well, this year we're introducing our Total Flex XMS adhesive.
Okay, Chris, it's really weird that you use the word adhesive. I've never heard of a mortar that you call an adhesive.
Because it's not a mortar, it's actually a true adhesive.
Okay, like a mastic?
It's nothing like a mastic. Mastic, you talk about old technology. Mastic is old technology, and it still has its place and everything, but it's definitely not a mastic. A mastic is organic, needs air to dry. There's a lot of limitations as far as tile and substrate, where you can put it. You definitely can't put it in showers. You can't put it in wet areas. You can't submerge mastics. You can't put it in pools. So this is nothing like a mastic. It is an adhesive.
So that sounds a lot like one of those like modified silo adhesives. Is that what we're talking about?
That is what we're talking about, and we just happen to have a pail here. And maybe, Heather, you could tell us a little bit
about
the
MS
technology?
adhesives? Yeah, so MS adhesives or modified silo adhesives are adhesives that are very different from mastics. Mastics dry. They need to have air movement and moisture movement to dry, okay? MS adhesives are a little bit closer to a mortar in that there's a chemical reaction that's happening, all right? The chemical reaction, it's not with liquid water like it is with a traditional mortar. It's actually with the moisture in the air. And up here, down here, we are very far south here, aren't we? Down here in Orlando, you guys probably can tell the humidity's pretty high here. So this actually reacts with the humidity in the air to cure and form a very, very tenaciously strong bond between the substrate and your tile.
So it may look like a mastic or a mixed mortar, and you may have noticed I peeled off some plastic over the top. That helps keep the moisture from the product. So once the moisture starts hitting the product, it starts reacting. So one of the cool things about it is you can use it with any type of tile, ceramic, porcelain, glass, metal, natural stone.
What about if I wanted to put like glass in a pool? Like traditionally I couldn't use a ready-to-use product in a pool setting.
No, and this was designed, you can use the XMS in a pool setting, and you can use it on glass tile like this.
Okay, so you could use glass tile, and it sounds like you were listing a lot of different substrates. What all can it go over?
It can go over any kind of concrete, cement board. It can go over metal.
What? You show me a mortar that can do that. So it's going to direct bond to that is what you're trying to tell me.
I'm going to show you an adhesive that direct bonds
Okay, I'm
to
sorry,
this.
not a mortar. So what I want you guys to notice as he pulls this out is, again, very different from mastics. Typically, mastics are very, very loose. They're sometimes somewhat difficult to work with. This has quite a bit of body to it. And again, that's going to be the difference between a mastic and an MS adhesive, right? So very, very different feel. This is going to have a much more tenacious bond and a tenacious grab. And you guys notice how well it's already kind of sticking to the mortar, or to the metal substrate there.
And it's very easy to trowel. I'm taking my time so I don't make a mess on stage for the next
Yeah, I was going to say, we
company
didn't put a
that's
drop
gotta come up
cloth
here.
down, did we?
Yeah. But you can see it's easy to trowel.
All right, so we can stick glass to pretty much any metal, provided we don't accidentally get it caught up there. That's pretty crazy to me. We can use it in pools. Do you think we could use it on glass bigger than that?
We can use it on glass bigger than that. Traditionally, glass, you're limited by size, but we've got a 12 by 12 here.
That is an absolutely huge glass tile. For those of you guys that don't know, large format for glass starts at 6 inches, right? It's very different from a traditional porcelain product. So that's like twice the length of what would be considered large format for glass, isn't it?
It is, and our XMS will work with this.
Okay.
So.
All right, proof is in the pudding. I want to see it.
Yes.
And again, I want you guys to notice the trowel ridges. Again, we've got a pretty good sized trowel that we're using up here. And very different from a mastic. You're not seeing things fall over. You're not seeing things get loose. It actually holds up quite well. And that's really, really critical as you start to get into some of these larger tiles like 12 by 12s, as you have to start moving to a larger notch size in order to get the coverage that you need. And I also want you guys to notice how he's troweling in pretty nice straight lines, right? That's going to help you collapse the ridges, get the coverage that you need. Great practice for glass, but also pretty much any tile that you guys are setting, that's a good idea.
So I know you were doubting this a little bit a minute ago.
Okay.
We're just going to move it up and down a little bit
Oh my goodness.
and knock down the ridges. And we can tap that in and beat it down, but you'll see it's holding it. And that's the key thing. So again, it'll work with large glass, porcelain.
Okay, so porcelain. How big a porcelain do you think we could go to?
You can do gauge porcelain.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Aren't those gauge porcelains like as wide as I am tall?
They're 5 feet by 10 feet.
That is huge. You mean we could use this adhesive, again, not a mastic, we could use this adhesive with a 5 foot by 10 foot panel.
You can, and it'll work. No problem, we don't have the tile. So we can go up to 5 foot by 10 foot. The gauge porcelain, if you guys are familiar with it, it's a little bit thinner, 3 to 6 millimeters, and you can put that on any substrate.
Okay, so we could do not just glass, but pretty much it sounds like any type of tile, right?
Any type, again, porcelain, ceramic, natural stone, inside, outside. There's other adhesives out there, but none of them can go outside, and definitely they cannot be submerged.
Okay, so if it could do gauge porcelain panels, I mean, do you think we could do like a larger piece of glass? I mean, it feels like this is kind of small. Like, I know it's twice as big as a large format glass tile, but like,
Yes, and you may be wondering why we've got a large board for a 12 by 12 tile. So I got something that may blow your mind, but before I blow everybody's mind, I can't hear.
I can't either. 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, so before I blow everybody's mind, I do want to say there is one small limitation. We're talking about you can use it everywhere. The one place you can't use it is shower floors, unless you're doing.
The one place you can use it is shower floors.
With mosaics.
Yes.
You can't set larger tile
Right.
with it. So this is what I was referring to.
That is a huge piece of glass there, Chris.
Yes.
Are you sure about this?
I'm pretty sure about it.
Okay.
So nobody's up front here, so.
You want to go ahead and set this back here, and I can start troweling for you.
Yes.
Put it with the label side down. Yep.
So Heather's going to start troweling that. So while Heather trowels that, we're going to talk about proper surface preparation. So what you want to do is cement board is thirsty. So you want to wet it down a little bit. Because where a mastic needs air to dry, this needs moisture to react and cure. So all I'm going to do is wet this down a little bit. And the key is you want to...
Oh, Lord.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
The key is you want to wet it down without saturating it and without creating puddles.
It just shattered on me. There had to be a micro crack in here.
And this is a good practice even if you're using traditional mortar, because you want the mortar to stay, or the water to stay in the mortar, so you don't want it to be sucked out by the substrate. So it's good practice to wet it down. Now if you're doing a larger area, you can use a spray and mist it. The reason why I like to use a sponge is because you're also cleaning it as you go. So you're removing any dust, any any bond breakers that may be on there. So as Heather finishes this up,
You want to talk about the fact that it broke?
what was it?
You want to talk to them about the fact that it broke?
Yeah. So you guys probably heard the noise that it broke. One of the challenges with this is shipping it. And we ship this from a couple different sources, one in Illinois and one in North Carolina. And we have about a 50% breakage rate of this. So this was one of our full panels that maybe had a micro crack in it. Here, let me get, I got better gloves.
You got it?
So
Watch it.
you can see Heather troweled just the back of it. And if there's any artisans in the group, oh, you know what? This is even better. This was planned.
Yep. It's the state of Florida.
It's
We
the
did it
state
on
of Florida
purpose.
backwards.
Up higher, higher, higher. So what I want you guys to notice is with glass, you need about 95% coverage. You can actually see right through this piece of glass. With a single coat, we were actually able to get basically right around there, I would say, 95% coverage. One of the main or critical key points to getting that coverage is going to be your substrate preparation.
Yes, and we're TEC, we're HB Fuller. Our booth is right over here. Please stop by. We have a full product line of surface prep, from primers and patches all the way up to self-levelers.
And I'll tell you what, if you guys use our entire system, you get what's called a system warranty. Those warranties are a lot more comprehensive. They include a lot more things, and definitely are kind of, in my opinion, the way to go. And if you've got any questions about tile setting products, if you want to see us set one of these without breaking it, ideally, go ahead and stop. You can see our booth right over there. And we do also have, could you do me a favor and grab that t-shirt out? If you stop by, we do have some free t-shirts. Especially for this particular product, you bet your glass it sticks. So if you guys want a nice t-shirt, go ahead and stop by the TEC booth right over there. I can see our, I don't know, whatever the spinny thing up top is from here. So thank you guys so much for your time.